You're watching the Weather Channel. Weather you can always turn to for accurate, dependable weather forecasts 24 hours a day.
Well, not a lot of snow across the nation as we head into this particular Christmas holiday. In fact, as of about 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, this is the way the national snow cover appeared. And you notice even in northern New England, there is not much snow. Just a few inches in northern Vermont, New Hampshire, into the mountains in Maine. A little bit more as you head up into far northern Maine, around Aroostook County. And then we head west, another area of the country where on many Christmases we tend to find a fair amount of snow cover. Even here in the upper Midwest, Minnesota, Wisconsin, parts of the Dakotas, the snow cover is not very deep. We only have an inch to 2 inches in some spots, and the forecast is for a very, very mild Christmas day, as I'll show you in a moment. Plenty of snow in the high elevations of the west, and we have a storm coming into California right now, which may add to this. By this time tomorrow, some of the mountains in Southern California should have some new snow cover to talk about. But as far as the official forecast tomorrow, this is the way it stands right now. The forecast high temperatures tomorrow and how they would compare to the normal highs this time of the year: 20 to 25 degrees warmer than normal over a large part of Minnesota, Wisconsin, northern Illinois, into Michigan. A pocket of below normal readings expected in the southwest. That's because of our storm, which is getting ready to move on down into Southern California. Let's take a look at that storm with a satellite view, and the clouds continue to whirl around the area of low pressure. This storm system is forecast to drop into Southern California. It'll be pretty far away from the main jet stream winds up here, so it's going to sit and spin for a little while before it heads farther east during the new week. So all kinds of weather coming into the Southland in the next 24 hours. Let's start out to the north, though. Central Valley in California. Most of the rain has ended around Sacramento. You can see it on radar pushing off to the east. We've had very heavy snow up in the Sierra, so if you're leaving the capital or the Bay Area, heading up 80 up into the Sierra, do get ready for a big change in the weather, because while it may not be precipitating down here, certainly some heavy snow to contend with as you head up into the mountains. Coming down along the south edge of all of this is Santa Barbara County. This is San Luis Obispo County, and you can see the rain is definitely edging toward the east as we now go towards the afternoon hours. Rain will be pushing into Los Angeles later on this afternoon. There's actually a fair amount of moisture with this particular cold front, so do expect some heavier rain totals up in the mountains, and eventually rain changing over to snow this evening as the snow level will start dropping considerably. That snow level may get down to about 4,000 feet in the mountains of Southern California by tomorrow morning, and then drop perhaps just a tad lower than that during the day on Sunday. Here's the band of clouds associated with the front, and the way we envision this whole thing working out for you in LA. This cloud band comes through. There'll be several hours of moderate, perhaps heavy rain. Once that moves through, the continuous rain will shut off, but there'll be some cool, some moist air behind the front, so there'll be a period of time where we'll have scattered showers, and the snow will continue up in the mountains. Cold front, as mentioned, continues to slide towards the southeast. A little bit of spotty precipitation over the Rockies, but actually this is where the main storm and its effects will be felt over the next day or so. Farther east, high pressure, pesky low clouds and fog once again across the midsection of the country. Don't have to worry about fog so much here. There's so much wind from this storm off the coast, actually a pair of storms, that the air is moving along very, very quickly over the eastern part of the country. But you get away from that storm's wind pattern and check out the low clouds all across the Ohio Valley. Pockets of low clouds and fog were widespread this morning over Kansas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas, but since early this morning, a lot of the fog has withered away, and even the clouds have lifted and broken up, so we are getting some sunshine as we head over to parts of southeast Kansas. Northeast, what a mess. This storm has been an incredible storm for many reasons. It produced a wind gust of 84 miles per hour out at Nantucket. We've had 2 to 3 inches of rain in a large part of southeastern Massachusetts, and there's still some more rain to come out of this thing before it dries out. And then even the back edge, as the moisture is swinging back to the west, stiff north wind coming down from Canada, just enough cold air. There's some nuisance freezing precipitation. We had some snow in Elkins for a while, a little bit of freezing rain around Johnstown, and it's possible that as we go into the overnight hours and the winds continue out of the north, there may be additional pockets of freezing precipitation. So that's going to be a big concern for travelers during the overnight hours. Not widespread, but where we do have it, it certainly could be cause for concern. The rain has dropped off a little bit here, especially around T.F. Green Airport out at Warwick, Rhode Island on the west side of the bay. There's a splotch cutting back through Hartford and the northwestern hills around Litchfield and Torrance Torrington in Connecticut. And then you can follow this band from Albany all the way down towards the Laurel Mountains in southwest Pennsylvania. Here's your forecast. The intensity of these storms drops off dramatically by tomorrow afternoon, so the wind and the rain starts to decrease. But just the opposite here. Big storm cranking it out over the far southern mountains of Southern California. Going to see quite a bit of rain up on the low elevations, 2,000–3,000 feet this evening on the coastal ranges, but snow up above 5,000 feet tonight. Rain changing over to snow in the mountains as we go through the evening and overnight hours. Low temperatures, well, we're going to go for some teens in extreme northern Maine. Highs Monday will be in the 20s in northern Maine, so it looks like a little bit of colder air trying to get on down behind the storm. And then for the rest of the week, the southeast, look at those readings, 60s each day as you head into Wednesday and Thursday, and then maybe some more cooler air showing up in the northern Rockies by the end of the week. Storm track Monday, the main storm is here. We still have some winds left over from the New England system, but that's pretty much out of there by Tuesday, so that will leave this storm. We'll be able to concentrate all our attention, hopefully, on this one storm as it slowly slides to the east. It'll pick moisture up. There should be enough cold air on the north side of it to give us a band of freezing precipitation. May see a quick band of morning snow showers as we head up into the eastern Great Lakes, heading into New England Thursday. And then here comes that next system. And would you believe it, timing-wise, what if that thing gets back on the East Coast as we head into the New Year's Eve? We'll keep watching. Stay tuned. Skier's forecast next.
Having a cat can do wonders for a person's health and happiness. It can lower blood pressure, reduce stress, helping us lead longer, fuller lives. Well, now you can return the favor by feeding your cat Iams every day. Cats love its taste, and it's more nutritious because its quality ingredients are more digestible. Iams cat food, good for life. From the Iams Company.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. Current regional conditions. Special regional information. Your local 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. Region's long-range outlook. The regional forecast. The extended forecast. Local radar showing any precipitation and its movement during the past 90 minutes. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen.
Secret's 4-hour cough drops help stop coughs far longer than menthol drops for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, up to 4 hours. New Secret's 4-hour cough suppressant.
This Christmas, give something that will make them ho, ho, ho all year long. Give the shower massage by Teledyne Waterpick.
It's time to hit the slopes for fun, for prizes, for the gold. It's Tour de Ski, the exciting Just for Fun ski racing series sponsored by the Weather Channel. Anyone can race, all ages, all sizes, any level, from novice to pro. There are medals in 5 different categories for both men and women. Each race day, there's an après ski party where you can win lots of great prizes like gloves and goggles. You can even win a pair of head skis just for participating. And there are 21 different locations and events throughout the season. What more could you want? It's a good time for the entire family. Do it for the fun. Do it for the prizes. Do it for the gold. But ski the Tour de Ski. For complete information about Tour de Ski or to order a copy of the Yellow Pages of Skiing, just call 1-800-864-2754. That's 1-800-864-2754. And be sure to watch the Weather Channel for upcoming events and locations.
All right, into the northeast we go. Stratton, Vermont, 14 to 31-inch base. Wet conditions. As of early this morning, 34 trails open for skiing, 43 trails at Sugarbush, also in the Green Mountain State. And at Snowshoe Silver Creek, 24 to 28-inch base. All right, let's take a look at our satellite view. Big storms circulating off the mid-Atlantic and the northeastern coast, and plenty of low clouds as we head westward into the Ohio Valley. We are getting reports of some freezing drizzle across some of the higher elevations in south central New York, extending all the way down into Maryland and West Virginia. The forecast, well, Monday we see quite a bit of wind and some snow returning to the northern resorts. Tuesday, outside of a few snow showers or flurries in the northern lakes, things are pretty quiet, but we'll continue to make some decent snow.
It's cold season, and for adult strength relief, many doctors recommend Dimetap. What's more, in a recent study, the antihistamine in Dimetap Extend tabs relieved allergic rhinitis symptoms better than a leading prescription antihistamine. Doctors have recommended the Dimetap brand over 200 million times for sneezing, runny noses, and nasal congestion. For adult strength cold and allergy relief, remember, doctors recommend Dimetap.
So a prize number worth millions of dollars arrives in somebody's mail.
Yes, and as soon as the number's returned,
You award the $10 million for American Family.
that's the easy part. First, we've got to get the winner to return the number.
Well, let's do it.
Okay.
And in 3, 2, 1.
Ed and I urge you to enter the sweepstakes with our picture this week. $10 million can be yours this fast.
Please get that number back to us, and I'll say you're a millionaire.
Let's take a look at our winter travel report. We've received some reports from West Virginia, the mountains of Maryland, and actually going up through Pennsylvania and south central New York. Some reports of some patchy freezing drizzle. The moisture's coming back west from the storm itself. There's just enough cold, just enough dry air, actually. The air is very dry back here in western Pennsylvania, so when that moisture moves into it, the air temperature cools off a lot. That's a very important process during the wintertime. And when we have what we call evaporational cooling, the temperature will fall dramatically if the air is dry and you start to shove moisture into it, and that's what we've had. Storm system getting organized in the western part of the country. This should bring heavy snow to the mountains of Southern California. So while we may have a white Christmas in the mountains north and east of Los Angeles, hardly any snow to be found across the central part of the country until you head well north into the Dakotas, Minnesota, and parts of Wisconsin. Big storm, mid-Atlantic. Actually, we have one off the Carolinas, another one somewhere up in here around the Delmarva. And the combination of the two, strong winds and some locally heavy rain. Now, the winds may still gust up over 35 miles an hour throughout the afternoon.
The Weather Channel is proud to be the official sponsor of USA Team Handball, now training for the 1996 Olympics.
Sun, snow, rain, or fog. Know what to expect. Just 95 cents a minute. Dial 1-900-WEATHER and connect.
Listen to why these folks got their best pick on Route 206 at Salerno Dwayne in Newton.
In shopping for my car, I went to 4 different dealerships, and I returned to Salerno Dwayne where I feel I've gotten the best deal for my car. At Salerno Dwayne, it was very, very comfortable to shop. and I recommend it. The salespeople are wonderful. The service department is wonderful. Anytime I call, it's great. So yeah, I would come back here for our next car.
Hi, I'm Leo Cadis.
And I'm Leo Cadis.
And I'm Mike Padham. You know, there's more to Leo Cadis Ford than just the automobiles.
It's the people.
Ed Howie, parts manager, 16 years.
Mike Passamano, service manager, 8 years.
Mike Prutzak, assistant parts manager, 7 years.
Fred Watts, shop foreman, 14 years. Leo Cadis Ford, Warwick, New York.
Quality you can trust.
People you can trust.
Have you driven a Ford lately?
Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. Extended forecast. The current local radar showing any precipitation in your area. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen.
You're watching the Weather Channel. Accurate and dependable forecasts you can always turn to. And when you're away from your television, the Weather Channel forecast is also available from the following.
Well, let's take a look at Alaska, where we have very cold air, and Hawaii, where the winds are changing very quickly this afternoon. The way we can tell that is by watching how the low clouds are moving. You go back about 6 to 8 hours ago, the low clouds streaming in from the east, but now everything kind of turning around. Watch these clouds kind of start to turn and now heading almost up north. And what's happening is a frontal system, a cold front northwest of the northern island, northwest of Kauai, is actually getting a little closer, and the winds are starting to shift around a little bit. The trade winds are dropping off dramatically. Here's the actual cold front and its cloud band. It stretches way down to the south, just northwest of the Hawaiian Islands. It's going to kind of seep on towards the northern island of Kauai during the next 24 hours. Meanwhile, to the north, a couple of low pressures across the far northern Pacific, and we've had some snow and some very cold air over central Alaska. Snow continues over the southwestern part of the state, where temperatures are rather chilly. 33 below at McGrath. It's 45 below at Umiat. And then you take into account that the wind, or the air, is moving. 57 below wind chill value, 19 below at Paxton, and rather cool 4 below in Anchorage. We'll take a look at the next 5 days in just a moment.
Hi, I'm Christopher Reeve. If you're looking for adventure, unusual people, spectacular live events, or maybe a once-in-a-lifetime Earth journey that's good for the environment, and of course you want it 24 hours a day, well, you can find all that and more only on the Travel Channel. And if your cable system doesn't carry the Travel Channel, you should just put down that remote, pick up your phone, and tell your cable operator that you want the Travel Channel.
Is someone special expecting something special from you? Don't disappoint them. Send it express mail. Overnight delivery starting at just $9.95. Even on Christmas Day. Express mail from your post office.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. Current regional conditions. Special regional information. Your local 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. and gentlemen, the regional forecast. The extended forecast. Your local radar, showing any precipitation and its movement during the past 90 minutes. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen.
Just a quick look into Australian weather as we head into the Christmas holiday. We've had some rain in Melbourne and temperatures today only in the mid-60s. Right now it's time for your 5-day business planner, sponsored by Mercedes-Benz, where safety, reliability, performance, and value are never optional. All right, let's take a look at stateside weather for you, and we have this big dome of high pressure sitting right over the central part of the country. Fair weather generally, if you don't mind some clouds and morning fog to go with it, and we think pretty much that'll be the same forecast tomorrow morning. Big storm circulating, one off the North Carolina coast, another one kind of buried here as you head up towards the Delmarva, and between the two, strong winds continue to slam into the New England coast, although the intensity of the winds have dropped off dramatically since 24 hours ago when we had winds gusting over 80 miles an hour out on the outer islands, Cape Cod, and Nantucket, getting some very strong winds. We have a new storm system coming into Southern California. Now this storm should bring snow to the mountains near Los Angeles during Christmas Day. So a little reversal on the norm. Snow in Southern California in the mountains, while hardly any snow to be found over the midsection of the country where we might normally find it, at least on some years. And there's another cold front. This one will slide in and bring some cooler air to northern Maine as we head into the new week. Wind, rain, and snow will go with this storm as it moves very slowly towards the southeast during the next 36 to 48 hours. Now we're going to start out a little cool with some teens and 20s Christmas morning from the upper Midwest all the way south into northeast Oklahoma. Pockets of patchy fog, maybe some freezing drizzle or light rain are expected as we go through the overnight hours, so that may make for some difficult travel for some parts of the Appalachians. Daytime highs both Christmas and Monday reflecting those above normal readings. Even in the southeast we have a string of days where highs will be in the 60s, Wednesday and Thursday included, and a little bit of cooler air showing up by the second half of the week as we head through the Rockies. Here's our main storm. Now we still have some wind in the northeast Monday and some snow showers that'll cut across the lakes Tuesday and Wednesday, but other than that, this is the main storm we'll be watching. This is the same storm which, at least initially tonight and tomorrow, brings snow to the Southern California mountains, slides east, the mountains in Arizona up along the rim. We could see an awful lot of snow from this storm, and then it slides to the east as we're heading into Wednesday and Thursday. That could bring some freezing rain or freezing drizzle to Des Moines, Chicago, Madison, and parts of lower Michigan by Thursday.
Attractive. Intelligent. Responsible. But enough about the price. Experience the car it's attached to.
Going fast. $10 million.
What's the big hurry, Ed?
You remember, Dick, I promised that you and I would meet the new $10 million winner together?
Right. American Family's going to have another big winner next month.
But first, we've got to get that $10 million winning entry back.
And that's where you come in. Look for the two of us on this $10 million sweepstakes and be sure to send it in.
Don't risk missing out on millions. Dick and I will be handing over the $10 million prize just weeks from now.
Take a look at the Traveler's Update. The high wind warning that was in effect earlier today for southern New England has been canceled. There are still going to be some strong winds. They may gust occasionally to 35 miles an hour or so as we go through the late afternoon and into the early evening. A few pockets where some winds may blow you around a little bit east of the Continental Divide in Montana and Wyoming, but no major area of big-time gusts. And likewise, along the north coast, heading north, as you're going up through Marin County out around Bodega Bay, we could see some stronger gusts, but we don't think that'll be a major problem. The rain is certainly more of a serious travel problem from Sacramento heading into the mountains. You'll have rain and then snow. It is snowing rather hard up in the Sierra, and the rain will be shifting from its present position in Santa Barbara County, sliding down towards Los Angeles before the day is through. Still have a flood watch in effect for a large part of New England. We've had 2 to 3 inches, and even more than 3 inches actually, in some of the towns in southeastern Massachusetts from the storm so far, and some nuisance pockets of freezing drizzle reported this afternoon. We think those will continue into the overnight, and snow returning to Southern California. We'll be talking more about that very shortly.
As the seasons change, prepare. Watch the Weather Channel. Weather you can always turn to.
Eye drops. They're all pretty much alike, but one stands apart. It's Visine, the only one recommended by pharmacists 4-to-1 over any other brand. Visine's formula is so effective, it used to be available only by prescription. So effective, it gives you 100% of the relief you need. Your pharmacist knows, and now you do too. Visine, it gets the red out.
You are so gorgeous, even in something simple. Every day, you are spectacular. Bird, the fresh look for vegetables.
They don't play kick the can like you used to. They don't dress the same way. So why are you taking their pictures with the same old film? Try Fujicolor Super G. Because pictures should be nostalgic. Film shouldn't.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the current local conditions. Regional conditions. Your local 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. Extended forecast. Special regional information. The forecast for cities nationwide. Forecast. Your local radar, showing any precipitation and its movement during the past 90 minutes. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen. This is the Weather Channel. Weather you can always turn to for accurate, dependable weather forecasts 24 hours a day.
Alrighty, into the Christmas holiday we go. We hardly have any snow across the country. A little bit in northern New England, a little bit over the upper Midwest. Plenty in the high elevations of the West, and we'll add to that even more in the next 24 hours. In fact, snow returns to Southern California. That's right. Folks in Los Angeles may not have to go too far tomorrow to catch some new snowfall. We do expect the snow to move into the mountains this evening. Everything starts out as rain, but then when the upper storm and its pocket of cold air slide a little farther south, later tonight, rain should change over to snow. And the snow level actually should get pretty low, maybe down about 4,000 feet by as early as tomorrow morning. So let's say Mount Wilson, we could see some snow. And in fact, by the time this system is entirely through with Southern California, there may be close to a foot of new snow in some of the higher mountains. Heading farther east, Arizona, pretty quiet right now. There's still a fair amount of low-level moisture left over after that most recent system. It's trucked off to the east now. And there's plenty of rain in Central California, not so much in the capital or the Bay Area. You've received your rain already, and it's now shifted off to your east. But it is raining still pretty hard in the foothills, heading up through the Sierra. Snow heavy at times, so you'll go through the transition. You leave Sacramento, east side of town, some lingering light precipitation, rain. Heading a little farther east up I-80, the rain will get a little heavier, and then boom, right over to snow, and the snow is quite intense. We're going to see a fair amount of snow up in the Central Sierra before the storm shifts a little farther south tonight. Head down to the south, Santa Barbara County. The rain has definitely been moving farther inland with each passing hour. You can see the trend on the radar as the rain actually is a little bit heavy as we go out here on towards 101, heading up the coast. A little bit of heavier precipitation, rain pushing towards Santa Barbara. Already some of the rain gauges up in the mountain terrain indicating rainfall amounts of about ½ an inch. So there's a fair amount of moisture with the system. Then the satellite view shows you the cloud band associated with the front. That's pushing to the east, so we'll have a period where there'll be some continuous rain in Los Angeles. That's represented by this band. And then once you get into these clouds, all the rain will taper off and there'll just be some scattered showers to deal with. But certainly some pretty decent snow appears to be on the horizon for the mountains in Southern California. Early today, a little bit of moisture coming on shore. There's been a fairly thick layer of marine air, actually, up to about 6,000 or 7,000 feet. So we did get some 1 or 2/10 of an inch rain totals around San Diego, Fallbrook, picking up some light precipitation. But the main show has yet to arrive. That'll be with the cold front later on today. The east, well, what can we say? We had this tremendous storm here, but before we get to that, big dome of high pressure sitting over the central part of the country. And we had plenty of low clouds and fog this morning. That's expected again tomorrow. Fog in the morning, then some clouds left over in the afternoon. A little bit of passing light rain in southern Texas. No biggie, so to speak. Now you can see the skies have cleared quite a bit over Kansas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas, but we're still getting low clouds from St. Louis across Mount Vernon, heading out towards Indianapolis, Columbus, Dayton, Findlay, Ohio, socked in with low clouds. All of Kentucky, not a cloud hole to be seen anywhere in Kentucky, and even down to Nashville, Tennessee. So folks leaving Atlanta in the sun, get to Chattanooga, almost overcast, and then you're in the clouds all the way up 65 to Indianapolis. At least that's the way it looks for late this afternoon. Northeast, now we put the radar imagery on top of the clouds so you can see what's been happening. We've had this tremendous storm with its high winds, very heavy rain in southeastern Massachusetts. There's still a flood watch in effect for a fairly large part of southern New England. The storm warnings have been dropped, but there are still gale warnings from Maine all the way down towards the Little River Inlet in South Carolina. The intensity of the rain has dropped off a bit today, so have the winds. So the overall trend has been to kind of decrease the punch from the storm, but since we've had so much rain already and the ground's very saturated, we're still going to have some problems to deal with because of the storm. And we understand that there was some pretty serious flooding out on the North Fork of Long Island last night. One thing we've been noticing, very strong northeast wind, that tends to pile the water up a lot. And if it's a northeast wind which continues for quite some time, well, you end up with problems. For instance, around Atlantic City in the back bays. At the time of high tide, of course, the water running a bit above normal, 2 to 3 feet. But then when the water tries to drain out normally after high tide, it can't really drain out as much as it normally would because the northeast winds just keep trying to pile the water back into the back bay. So we think that process will unfold once again tonight and even tomorrow as the high tide rolls in. Patchy freezing drizzle, that's been occurring today around Binghamton on the back edge of the storm where we have some drier air. Southward through the mountains in Maryland, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia, some frozen precipitation. As far as the forecast, storms losing its effects on the east tomorrow. New storm buries itself in far southern California by late Sunday. Heaviest rain, parts of east New England today and tonight, and then look for some heavier rain totals. May see a ½ inch to 3/4 of an inch in some of the lower elevations in the coastal mountains in southern California, and some snow, 6 to maybe 12 inches by tomorrow night in the mountains in southern California. So it looks like a white Christmas for the mountains in southern California. Lows starting out in the teens and 20s, the upper Midwest, but back into the 40s, way above normal on Christmas. And the extended forecast, some colder air finally arrives in northern New England. That'll help out with snowmaking at the ski resorts. Still very mild in the southeast with 60s each day this week. Just a nice balmy pattern for the folks there. And then the main storm we'll be watching this week. Coming through the southwest on Monday, Tuesday in Texas, New Mexico, snow with this storm in the southern Rockies, and then it cruises out to the northeast. So it'll bring its shield of rain and freezing rain, unfortunately, into Illinois. That could affect travel in Chicago. We'll keep you posted on this storm.
For over 50 years, more folks in Tennessee have started their day with Tennessee Pride Country Sausage. The Odom family's recipe of the freshest cuts of lean pork and time-tested seasonings made it the finest sausage you could serve back then, and it's still true today. Serve your family something our family is very proud of. Tennessee Pride Country Sausage.
Take home a package of Tennessee Pride.
Tennessee Pride, the real country sausage for over 50 years.
Hi, I'm Peekaboo Street on Sun Valley's Baldy Mountain. Watch the skiers forecast 10 minutes past the hour, only on the Weather Channel.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. Current regional conditions. Special regional information. Your local 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. Long-range outlook. The regional forecast. The extended forecast. Local radar showing any precipitation and its movement during the past 90 minutes. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen.
Mountains, the wind is blowing cold. You're trusting a name over 50 years old. From the prairies to the mountains, where the eagle
For the Walls retailer near you, call 1-800-447-WEAR.
If your child's cold doesn't slow him down, his cold medicine sure could. So we created non-drowsy Triaminic AM, dye-free cough and cold relief that won't slow kids down. New Triaminic AM, relief without drowsiness.
Look for Trimedic at your local pharmacy.
She may only vaguely remember getting her first doll or having her first slumber party, but those Sunday morning Bisquick pancake breakfasts are going to stick with her.
Here's a private lesson from Skiing Magazine, sponsored by Chevy Truck and the all-new Blazer.
I thought I was going to leave you in the dust on those turns.
Are you kidding me, Lisa? I'm a lean, mean skiing machine. You gotta stay in shape throughout the ski season and ski relaxed. If you carry around a bunch of tension, you're bound to get tired.
First, keep your head up. If you look ahead, you'll have more time to see what's coming.
Second, relax the muscles you're not using. When your weight is on your outside leg in the turn, relax the muscles of your inside leg.
Third, whenever you stop, check to see where you might have tension, such as in your shoulders, and release it.
And finally, don't forget to breathe while you're skiing. For more of these great ski tips, read Skiing Magazine.
And keep watching the Weather Channel.
On a day like this, you're bound to see quite a few great performances on the ice. But few are as gripping as the Lumina minivan. Its available traction control system keeps you sure-footed even in the worst weather. Lumina. It looks different because it is different.
Santa, I've had another job offer.
Oh, no. How can we change your mind? How about a raise? Company sled?
Everyone loves Long John Silver's battered fish. Now there's new popcorn fish. Tasty little bite-sized fillets with fries, just $1.99.
Maybe if you gave me your popcorn fish.
Keep in touch, kid.
And get a holiday crystal for just 99 cents.
Go fish with Long John Silver's, where America goes for fish.
Well, it was a cold day in England. In fact, London, about 15 to 20 degrees below normal for this time of the year. It's presently 30 out at Heathrow, 28 in Paris, and even as we go over to Zurich, temperatures are still in the 20s. Let's take a look at that satellite view. And there is a cold front approaching the northwest side of Ireland. These clouds representing the front. Plenty of cold air sweeping behind that front up into Iceland. And it looks like we've had plenty of low clouds today. And that in large part has been responsible for holding the temperatures, the daytime temperatures, below normal over the interior of Western Europe. What about the forecast for tomorrow, for Christmas Day? Well, we have high pressure over northeastern France, just north of Stuttgart. Low pressure. This one's been with us for quite some time on the east end of the Mediterranean, so more wind and rain for the Adriatic coastline, and also where we have enough cold air and moisture combined, there'll be some freezing precipitation. You notice how this cold air, which originates here up in Siberia, kind of noses all the way down. So we have highs in the 30s for a large part of central and eastern France during the day tomorrow. Clouds and fog expected in Brussels with highs in the low 30s. Mid-30s also in Frankfurt with clouds and fog. And more clouds and fog in Paris, just like today. But breezy weather expected in Stockholm.
Hi, I'm Peekaboo Street on Sun Valley's Baldy Mountain. Watch the skiers forecast 10 minutes past the hour, only on the Weather Channel.
Current conditions, extended forecasts, travel information for over 225 international cities. Call NECT.
The Fashion Outlet has everything you need to update your career and sportswear wardrobe. And with the Fashion Outlet's everyday low prices, high fashion doesn't have to be high priced. Or come into country dressing where the country casual style is warm and cozy, but the prices won't leave you out in the cold. The Fashion Outlet and Country Dressing, two great stores with tremendous selections, friendly service, and unbeatable prices. And they're both on Spring Street in Newton.
Now,
Pontiac Bonneville is only $292 a month and $999 down for 36 months with automatic transmission standard. With BMW 530i, that's an option. The Bonneville has free 24-hour roadside assistance. With 530i, there's no such option. Pontiac Bonneville has theft deterrent standard. With BMW, even that's not an option. Now lease a new front-wheel drive Bonneville for only $292 a month.
Why are S&M deals so good? Because I'm the president.
Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. Extended forecast. The current local radar showing any precipitation in your area. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen. You're watching the Weather Channel for accurate forecasts at your convenience. Weather you can always turn to.
I love working in the theater, and despite the arthritis that runs in my family, I plan to keep right on working. The Arthritis Foundation is working too, to find a cure. But until they do, they've helped to create new Arthritis Foundation pain relievers. For pain relief we can count on, from nighttime discomfort to the pain of inflammation. And part of our purchase price goes to research, so we're helping others as we help ourselves. New Arthritis Foundation pain relievers, for pain relief you can count on.
This room is filled with dry air. This is 6 gallons of water being dispersed into the air to make it more comfortable, using the high technology of a Holmes rapid mist humidifier. This is the same amount of water being dispersed with lesser technology. Rapid mist from Holmes. Double the moisture, twice as fast. Higher technology. Holmes humidifiers are available at Carter & Company.
All right, let's update the storm along the East Coast. This has been a real doozy with over 80-mile-an-hour winds at times. A lot of those stronger wind gusts have dissipated. The winds today primarily in the 30-35-mile-an-hour category, at least on the mainland. High pressure dominates the midsection of the country, and a fairly significant storm with snow in the forecast for Southern California. So we get some snow where we might not normally find it at Christmas time, and where we normally look to find the cold air and the snow on the ground. We do have some snow in some parts of the upper Midwest, but we also have this today. Record heat. International Falls 37. That's enough to go into the books today. Alpena, Michigan, up to 50 degrees. Marquette's at 46 and Sault Ste. Marie at 43 degrees. Meanwhile, over on the eastern seaboard, plenty of wind, as we mentioned, but at least the intensity of both wind and rain has dropped off considerably since earlier in the storm's evolution. In fact, at that time, way back early in the game, Nantucket Island, 84-mile-an-hour winds, 78-mile-an-hour winds out at the Cape at Falmouth. Providence had 72-mile-per-hour winds, and even Boston up on the coast of Mass, 66 miles per hour. Here's our windy travel today. From New England, heading south, the mid-Atlantic, and there are still gale warnings in effect for all of the northeast, mid-Atlantic, and parts of the southeast, all the way down towards Little River Inlet, Savannah, along the South Carolina coast. That's where your gale warning is in effect, but the storm warnings that were in effect earlier today over southern New England have been canceled. So the storm is winding down. There's still some rain. Let's take a look at a radar for you out of southern New England, and we'll show you some of this precipitation as it slides on shore. The rain has been coming in actually in bands from the Atlantic Ocean. Now you can see the rain coming up through Boston. We had a period of time where the rain had ended, but there's a kind of a new batch here coming right up into Boston now, with the rain returning to Logan within the hour. Providence, nothing doing right now out at TF Green on the west side of the bay at Warwick, but looks like some of that rain will be advancing across the Little Rhodey in the next hour. And then plenty of rain still cutting through the hills in northwestern Connecticut. Over the western part of the country, well, there's a new storm coming in. That storm system is going to work its way into the south, Southern California that is, and there should be some very heavy snow with this storm. The rain will start into the mountains this evening, but then change over to snow as the colder air arrives. San Francisco and Sacramento have had some rain, but that has ended. The precipitation now in Northern California, primarily in the Sierra and the foothills. Rain in the foothills, but changing to snow as you're heading up I-80 eastbound up towards Tahoe. In fact, we had some heavier snow today in the central Sierra. This big dome of high pressure, which is situated over the midsection of the country, is still with us tomorrow. It doesn't move too terribly far, and so we'll have the same kind of weather pattern. You may have had some fog and some low clouds this morning, but perhaps you're now sitting in some sunshine. Looks pretty much the same story for tomorrow, as the overall weather pattern is not changing. High pressure in the midsection of the country, storm over the west, and a departing storm in the east. But the departure on that storm is kind of a very slow process. There'll still be some breezes out there from New England down to the mid-Atlantic, some lingering showers perhaps extending as far south and west as eastern North Carolina during Christmas Day. As far as precipitation amounts, they should be heaviest across southeast New England this evening from whatever else is left from that storm. Now, there have been 2 to 3 inch rain totals already in southeastern Massachusetts, especially south of Boston and then heading down out towards the Cape. Also, some locally heavy rain has fallen in Rhode Island and Connecticut. In the west, coastal ranges, 1/2 inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch. And then if you were to melt down the snow, which comes out of this thing by 7 a.m. tomorrow, we could be looking at some 1/2 inch rain total. Speaking of snow, that snow will come right on down into the mountains, even east of San Diego. Now, this storm is scheduled to go all the way down, probably down to, let's say, California-Mexico border by tomorrow, late in the day. So it'll bring some pretty decent snow to the mountains in Southern California, including Mount Wilson near Los Angeles. 30s and 40s, overnight lows in the southeast, back into the 50s, and warm 60s tomorrow for Christmas Day. And even in the upper Midwest, we may see another record high or two.
Santa, I've had another job offer.
Oh, no. How can we change your mind? How about a raise? Company sled?
Everyone loves Long John Silver's battered fish. Now there's new popcorn fish. Tasty little bite-sized fillets with fries, just $1.99.
Maybe if you gave me your popcorn fish.
Keep in touch, kid.
And get a holiday crystal for just 99 cents.
Go fish with Long John Silver's, where America goes for fish.
Join the Weather Channel for this year's Tour de Ski. Call 1-800-525-2257 for accommodations and call Christie Sports at 303-949-0151 to register.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the current local conditions. Regional conditions. Your local 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. Extended forecast. Your local radar showing any precipitation and its movement during the past 90 minutes. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen.
Mr. Kemp on 2, Doctor. Uh-oh. Sore throat, stuffiness. I'm getting a cold. I know what I need. A name I've counted on for years. From the makers of Advil. Advil Cold and Sinus. It's tough on colds, like Advil is on pain. Handles a sore throat, fever, aches, clears nasal congestion, and won't make me sleepy. Not that I could sleep around here.
Advil Cold and Sinus, advanced formula for the cold season.
Looking for a little excitement? Exotic places? Spectacular live events? Or to sail away to a tropical paradise? And you want it 24 hours a day? I'm Susan Anton. You can find all of that and more on the Travel Channel. What? Your cable system doesn't carry the Travel Channel? Well, then put down that remote and pick up the phone. Tell your cable operator that you want the Travel Channel.
And now it's time for the Michelin Drivers Report, brought to you by Michelin and your participating Michelin dealers.
Well, at least the winds are not quite as strong as they were, let's say, yesterday and certainly last night. But we still have some gusts in the 30, 35 mile an hour range for southern New England, extending south mid-Atlantic, and plenty of rain still coming in off the Atlantic Ocean. There's your windy travel all the way south into North Carolina, and perhaps some stronger winds east of the Continental Divide, heading from, let's say, Cut Bank down through Livingston and all the way into north central Wyoming. Rainy travel east and west. Flood watches are still in effect for a large part of southern New England through late this afternoon. And as you head into southern California, some of the rain gauges up in the mountains in southern San Luis Obispo County already indicating about 0.4 of an inch. That rain is going to be heading right down the coast into Los Angeles before the afternoon is through. And snow up in the mountains. That snow level will get down below 4,000 feet by Christmas Day. And again, some nuisance pockets of freezing drizzle are expected as we head into the overnight hours. Combination of some cold air and some moisture in the Northeast and the Appalachians.
Rangers, Cherokees, Broncos, Explorers, Pathfinders, Blazers. Any pickup or 4x4, on-road or off. Introducing the tough new LTX Light Truck Series from Michelin.
Find Michelin tires at this dealer near you because so much is riding on your tires.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the current local conditions. Regional conditions. Your local 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. Extended forecast. Special regional information. The forecast for cities nationwide. Regional forecast. Your local radar, showing any precipitation and its movement during the past 90 minutes. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen.
You're watching the Weather Channel. Weather you can